Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going out tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going out tonight. Yeah, right. It's going out tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going out tonight. Yeah, right.
Hello. Michael, can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. I'm like, oh God. Okay.
Welcome. We're so happy to see you. We are live. It looks like
No, I was
live.
on
We're putting her lipstick on.
Turn red. but we're good now.
Station. I don't know what Caterina's doing, but hey, y'all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
The colors are so pretty. I love your color, Caterina. I love your necklace, Gloria. I love your orange, Crisette. And I love my lipstick. So everybody has on a pretty color today. Colors make us feel alive. Where my girls at?
It's going down tonight. It's going down tonight. It's going down. Great day, great day, great day. It's Monday. Come on, you guys. It's Monday. Aren't you excited that it's Monday? Oh, yeah, we're excited. It is Monday, and you are listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation WFDF. And I am Crisette Ellis from the D, your host for today, along with my girlfriends, the force of friendship, Caterina, Gloria, and Sabrina. Of course, you know that you can catch us Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. Well, you guys, I have been off for a couple of days, and I promise you, it is so good to be back. It is so good to see my face in this square as I'm looking on our Facebook. Many of you might.
You got a tan, Chris. You got a tan. We see your tan. We see your tan. Don't even try it. Look at all red.
I'm trying to show my tan, my glow. I could have, dropped the shoulder so you could see the tan line, but I decided to be nice.
I'm sure that's tomorrow. Okay.
You need to focus today.
Okay, but I'm excited to be back. I took a few days off to hang out and to celebrate my husband Charles' birthday. He turned the big 63. He ain't ashamed of it. He shouted from the mountaintop. So he is 63 years young. Yes, yes, yes. And when I tell you we had an amazing time, you guys, we went to Arizona, I promise you, for 4 days, and it was hot as, and you can fill in the blank, okay? That's how hot it was there. But we had an amazing time, You guys, you know what? I promise you, I thought I was going to take my 4 days off. I was just going to listen in maybe every, once or twice. But you know what? These chicks right here, they got it going on. I tuned into We Got Issues every day. Every day I was tuned in. And I'm telling you, you guys had such good topics, great conversation. I was kind of like feeling some kind of way that y'all was sounding so good and doing the dang old thing without me. I said, let me tell you something about this group. Don't get caught on the end of a picture. Don't leave the radio. We got issues for a few days because you may come back and find that somebody else is filling in for you. But you guys, you handled it. You did an amazing job. I was so excited to hear you guys sounding so good. And you guys, you know what? It's so good to be home. Arizona was wonderful. It was super hot. It was so funny. Chuck and I went to hang out by the pool, and we're hanging out. He's like, I'm going to get me a good tan. I was like, okay. So I'm laying out with him, and he's just laying out. I'm like, you know what? I can't take it anymore. I'm going to go jump in the pool. You guys, I ran to get in the pool. First of all, my feet almost burnt up because the stone was so hot. So now I'm running. And, you know, typically when you go to a place that's hot and you're ready to jump in the pool, you kind of put your foot in and you have to count down and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just jump in and get cold and then pop out. So I did that. I jumped in and I looked up and I said, can somebody bring me some soap and a washcloth? Because this is bath water. This is bath water. It was so warm, you guys, so warm. But you know what? It was just so good to be there, to get away for a few days. And I'm going to tell you, it was the first time, you guys, that I had been on a plane. I think everybody, Caterina, Sabrina, Gloria, all of you have traveled several times. And this was my very first time in like 16 months being on a plane. And our flight was full. You know, people had on their mask, and, you know, we did all of the activities we did. You know, most of the times people didn't have on their mask. And I'm going to tell you, we had an opportunity to go to the Phoenix game, the Suns against the Bucks. And when I tell you, the people were up in there, they were excited. They were having a ball. We were screaming. We were hollering. I was like, I just thank you, Lord, that I'm vaccinated, because I know Rona was up in that place. I know she was up in there. I know she was up in there. But I was so thankful and grateful to be vaccinated and to feel a little bit normal. Again, just not having an opportunity to do a whole lot during this last year, almost 2 years now. But the game was awesome. And of course, they won both games at home. Ain't nothing like having the home court advantage, right? I know that, Sabrina, I think all of you are basketball fans, and I hope you guys were rooting for the Suns. Are y'all rooting for the Suns?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. You're rooting for the Suns.
Chris Paul in particular.
Chris Paul in particular. Okay. Everybody has their favorites. But yeah, we're so excited. We're a little bummed out last night. They didn't win, but you know how that is. They won 2 games and they were in Milwaukee. And so, of course, they had the home court advantage. So we're still believing they're going to win the next game and they are going to come out the NBA champions. So that's what we're going for. But today I am so excited, you guys, about our topic for today. And this is a topic, when I tell you, every single one of these women right here can talk about this topic. So many of those of you that are watching us live on either 910 Facebook or the Force of Friendship Facebook, you guys could lean into this conversation. And we're going to be talking about how do you support your spouse's dream while holding on to your own dream without losing your dream. And so we're excited to talk about this topic. And I am so excited about our guest that we have on today. And I'm going to introduce her to you in just a few minutes, but she is the wife of the assistant coach of the Phoenix Suns, Miss Terrah Green. Her husband, Willie Green, is a former NBA basketball star. And when I tell you, she has to handle a whole lot. But you know what? That's what this show is about. We said we were going to keep it positive, powerful, but not Pollyanna. We're going to make sure that we're bringing you topics that can help you grow and help us grow as we lean into these powerful topics. So you know what, you guys, it's a lot that's going on in our country, in our world right now. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot that's going on that you have heard about. You guys, how about who was that just flew his plane to the outer skirts? Richard Brandon. Okay. Y'all ready to sign up for that trip?
No.
Katrina, talk to me.
I probably, of all of these chicks, I'm the one who would be the most likely to, but even for me, it's a no. I jumped out of a plane. Gloria jumped out of a plane, but I don't need to take a plane to space. I'll see it in the by and by.
That's not on your bucket list, Caterina?
It's not, and then you're going to watch Elon Musk, who's going to try to outdo and go higher and greater. So it's interesting, but 10 years from now, it might be a normal thing. Might just be going to space for the weekend. Who knows?
I'm going to take my $200,000 and do something else with it. Okay.
Yeah. It's more than 200,000. It's going to be more than 200,000. Watch.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, Ken would be on that flight right now. Ken would be on the flight right now.
Really?
He would be on it right now. Yep. He can't wait to go. He cannot wait to go. And
I remember you said that, Gloria.
He means
I remember you said he wanted to.
He's all over it. He wants to go. He wants to see it. He wants to experience it. He's ready to go. He's ready for an adventure. He's always been ready for adventure. OMG.
Wow. Well, you know what? There's a lot of conversation about that. I was looking at Twitter and what people were saying. And, it's just amazing how everybody has a different perspective. You had the individuals that were saying, what a waste of billions of dollars that could be used to feed the hungry, to build homes for the homeless and so on. So you had a whole lot of people that was just like, I can't believe they're wasting that kind of money and they're not doing things to, help society. And then you had other people that said, hey, it's their money. And if that's what they're choosing to do, then, it's their business. Let them do it. And then somebody made a really good point and said, I'm sure when the Wright brothers built their aircraft, there was a lot of people talking about them, but I'm so thankful that they did it, because now all of us have the opportunity to fly almost any place we want to. So sometimes being the first, and that's probably another good topic, being the first sometimes is not being easy, because everybody has an opinion of why you are doing what you're doing. And the other part of that is a lot of times when people are talking about, well, why are they using their money to do this, that, and the other? And you don't know what they've already done to help other people. You don't know that they've already spent billions of dollars to feed people, money to, give people shelter and medicine and so on and so forth. So you just have to be careful when you're spending other people's money. And just because I'm not loud out there telling you everything that I'm doing to help others does not mean that I'm not helping others. So it's just interesting. So, Sabrina, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
You said it all. Crisette, we're so glad to have you back.
Check the chat, Chris.
It all,
She the bestie one in the chat. She the bestie one in the chat today.
Anthony is funny. He's going to up your policy and he's going to put you on that flight, Caterina.
Okay.
He's going to put you on a flight, and then he's going to increase the policy. That is funny.
Oh, my.
We're so glad to have you back, First Lady. It looks like you got lots of sun and lots of whatever else you want. You look so rejuvenated. So welcome back, Crisette. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, it's a lot going on. We've got a situation in Cuba, all the unrest in Cuba. We have to pray for our sisters and brothers over there. And then right here in my backyard, UNC Chapel Hill, there was an amazing monument that paid tribute to the enslaved people who helped build the campus. There were a couple of men with Confederate flags on campus this weekend, racial slurs, trying to do damage to that monument. So it's just issues. We got issues. I'm excited to talk about the NBA Finals. I hope our guest gets back on. I know she was on, then she had to get off. I can't wait to have her on. So thanks for locking that interview down. Caterina, you look so pretty. I can't stop looking at that top. It's so pretty. When you order,
Crisette made me buy it. Crisette made me buy this. You know how you go in for one thing and you come out with that chick, even if it's virtual and you didn't bought all kind of stuff.
That's pretty.
So this Crisette made me buy it. Thank you. It's a lot happening here. I have to just honestly say, we don't drink up in here, but today I could have already had a drink. I could have had two. Okay, it's a lot. Sometimes it's like if one more person called me today with some crazy news. Okay, so sometimes that's happening. But honestly, you guys, we are praying consistently for South Africa. Those that we're connected with in ministry in South Africa, it's getting hit hard. You're seeing pictures. of the hospitals and what it's looking like there. So we're praying. So that is continually on our mind. What you said about the terrible weekend again in Chicago and the gun violence, we're continuing to pray. But I got some good news. This was from the ESPYs, y'all. And even before I knew about our guest today, Chris, the Best College Woman Athlete Award, and I may pronounce her name incorrectly, Paige Buchers. She is an American college basketball player from UConn Huskies of the Big East Conference. I was first impressed because she loves the Lord. Then I was really impressed. She stood there and said, I stand here as a white woman who leads a Black-led sport. And I'm giving a shout out to Black women that are underrepresented. She said in the WNBA, 80% of winners in the WNBA awards were Black, but only got half the coverage of white athletes. It's time for a change, she said. Don't get media coverage. They do not get the media coverage they deserve. Sports media holds the key to the storylines. And so to hear her up there, how she celebrated Black women, how she called them by name, it was amazing. And then Sabrina, there were 2 women wrestlers who said representation is not a request, it's a requirement. I was like, go ahead. These young folks
that's
are taking
right.
it. They are not taking it. I was like, okay, I high-five myself. Okay. I was impressed. I mean, I was walking around my house. The ESPYs were just kind of on, and then I sat down, rewound it, and took notes. It was just good.
Wow.
How about you, Gloria?
Oh my goodness, this is something else. This is something else. Monday, welcome to We Got Issues News on NBAB CBD WFDF out in Detroit, the news station. This is awesome. I'm catching up on everything, and I was going to talk about the soccer. I was going to talk about the Euro soccer game between Italy and Britain, and what they talked about, the energy, you guys, the energy of champions playing, and the power of the passion that was going into these games, and that the one, you know, we're not as ingrained in soccer as the rest of the world, but when I tell you the rest of the world was leaning in on this. And then to have that to be such a powerful environment, and then have such a tragic news come out of it, because they had to play those games, and the racism that came out after that, because those guys, 19 years old, kicking the ball, missing, and just being devastated. I don't even know what their comeback is going to be, but I will tell you, I have said this over and over and over again. The true sign of a champion is how they bounce back from disappointment. And we saw a lot of that. And then I love the fact that we saw the world coming out and standing up for them and saying that that type of racism is not going to be tolerated. So I appreciate what you led with, Caterina, because finally people are standing up all over the place and saying this will not be tolerated. This is not be tolerated. Unfortunately, it's still matched with so much activity that's coming at it. But it was so amazing to see that happening. I mean, just a lot's going on. So we got issues. We got issues. But Chris, I am excited about this topic, because you are absolutely right. Not only are we very familiar with this topic, not only are we familiar with having to do this, but we have a lot of people that are listening in from all over the world that are into this particular issue. How do you support someone else? I mean, that is what the Force of Friendship is all about. That is what these girlfriends are all about. That is what our mission is how to be better at being friends in all areas of our life. So we got issues. I'm turning it back over to you, Chris.
Wow, wow, wow. You guys, I am so excited about our topic on today about supporting your spouse's dream while keeping your own dream alive. Well, our guest on today, she is beautiful on the inside and the outside. And I'm so excited that she agreed to be our guest. And I want you guys to bring to the stage as I introduce Terrah Green. Terrah Green is with us. You guys, welcome, welcome, Terrah. She is a graduate, you guys, of Central Michigan University. She holds a BA in Business Administration, and she has dedicated over 15 years in operations and project management in advertising and marketing industry for both traditional and digital disciplines. She is married to Willie Green, who is a former NBA player and who is now the assistant coach of the Phoenix Suns. Terrah has lived, you guys, listen to this. in 9 different cities over the past 12 years. She has moved 11 times, and her children have attended 13 different schools. Terrah is an amazing mother of 3 amazing children. And you guys, she has done so much. I'm going to have her tell you a little bit more about what she does. But please, come on, give a big hand of applause to our guest on today, Terrah Green.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you, Terrah. Terrah, I want you to just share just real briefly, because we are coming upon a break. And matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and go to the break because I absolutely don't want to have you interrupted. So we're going to take our first break. You guys are listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. And right after break, we are going to hear from Terrah Green, who is the wife of assistant coach Willie Green to the Phoenix Suns. We'll be right back after we pray a few bills.
All right. Well, here we are, you guys. It is Monday. Every day is Monday. And we are here with Terrah Green, the assistant coach's wife of the Phoenix Suns. Did you hear how many times she's moved in her lifetime with children? Her children have attended 13 different schools. And you wonder, what a woman. I mean, I'm talking, what a mighty good woman. You know, they say behind every great man is a great woman. And I believe that for sure, because the woman, if I tell you, we keep that household happy, we keep it hopping, we keep it moving, we take relocation. I am speaking from experience. I'm about to pack up again, you guys. And I was about to get overwhelmed last week. This will be our 7th move in the last few years because Kenny, being a coach, he's going to another state. And here we go. I have always been of the mindset that bloom where you're planted. When my first children started moving around, my mother said, the children will be fine. The children will be fine. As long as you and Kenny are good, the children will adapt. They will adjust. And it has just been that way. So for the first time, we're about to move and we don't have children because we're empty nesters. So you guys, how do you go after your own dreams when you're supporting your husband's dreams? You got to think about that, because I will tell you, I've had some people along the way saying, you must really love him. I can't believe you moved so much. Just let him go. Well, I don't know what works for you and your household, but for me and mine, my man goes, I'm going. Okay. That's works for me. And so you guys, how do you support your man? How do you support your sugar, your honey, your bunny, and not lose sight of your own dreams? I think it's important that you have your own goals. I think you have a good attitude. I help you know that there are lots of networks that you can plug into, that you're not alone. You have to look at the cup half full and not half empty. You can whine, you can complain, or you can choose to be happy. I can't wait to hear from Terrah and how she has navigated through this thing called life. Obviously, she's done it right. So you guys, I think we just have to be open. I think you have to be comfortable with yourself and have great confidence in doing what you want to do in life so that you're not swallowed up in his world. You got to have something going on for yourself so you don't feel like the forgotten child. I think that's really, really important. But anyway, we're going back to the show, you guys. Thank you for being here. You add so much value to our conversations Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. We'll be back.
All right, we are back. And you are listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. And we are so excited to be here with our guest, Miss Terrah Green, who again is the wife of Willie Green, former NBA player, as well as the assistant coach of the Phoenix Suns. And so we want to start this conversation with Terrah. First of all, Terrah, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to say hello and just thank you so very much for this forum and this platform and this rich conversation. I'm very excited to be here. Like I said, we currently reside in Scottsdale, Arizona, but we have moved so many times. And, historically, I was in corporate America. I worked in the advertising and marketing industry, and I did that for about 15 years. And following that, once we decided to get married, Willie and I, we kind of had a discussion before marriage that said, hey, like if my job takes us away, are you willing to make the sacrifice to move? Are you willing to sacrifice your career to support me? And so that answer was yes. And we decided as a family that, we would just kind of be a family that didn't live apart. And so as a result, I took some time to just be the supportive wife and stay-at-home mother. And then we kind of decided that our passion was real estate. So real estate and interior design, it's like eye candy to me. I love it. Absolutely love it. It just makes me come alive. And so we decided to invest in a real estate investment company. And we started in Florida, Boca Raton, Florida, because my father and my mother live in Boca Raton. And the market at the time was conducive to flipping properties there. And so we started there and then realized there was a huge opportunity in Michigan, in the Detroit metropolitan area. And so since we've been flipping homes in the urban communities in Detroit and beautifying those neighborhoods that we grew up in, my husband grew up in, Willie, and so we've been doing that now for about 8 years. We flipped about 10 properties. And so every property is different. Every project is different. It's something that Willie and I love to do is renovate. We love to renovate and update properties. And so that's been a lot of fun. In addition to that, I'll do a little bit of consulting here and there, but I'm in the process of launching an app that I have found a gap in the relocation process for professional athletes and their families that I think would be super beneficial. And so that is kind of one of my recent projects that I'm working on.
Wow, Terrah, you are doing so much. That is so awesome. I love when you meet women who can support their husbands, but they have their own dream and they're able to do both. So before we dive a little bit more into that, I want you to take us back a little bit. So I have a couple of questions, okay, that I want to ask. So we want to know, inquiring minds want to know, we have our Facebook audience as well, and they are putting their comments in the chat. And if you have a question for Terrah, we absolutely want you to call us at 313-778-7600. And you also can put your question in the chat as well. So Terrah, just tell us a little bit, how did you and Willie meet?
So we met amongst
love
friends.
story,
Right.
love story. Don't even try. Chris is trying to put it all professional. We want the love story, okay? Be a girlfriend.
It's such a good one. It's such a good one too. We met amongst friends, but the stars were definitely aligned. It was All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas. And I decided to go with my girlfriend on a whim. Like, it was like, we were like, when is the next time All-Star Weekend is going to be in Vegas? Who knows? We just need to go. And literally decided like that week. And so we get on a plane, we go to Vegas. In the airport, my bag's on another flight because that was before 9/11. So you could just kind of get on a flight if there were open seats and then send the bags on the other flight. So I'm at the airport, I'm sitting, waiting for her to get her bags. And a gentleman is a few seats next to me. He starts up a conversation and he's like, where are you all from? And I said, we're from Michigan. And he's like, oh, we are too, and he's like, who are you with? And so we found out we were from similar communities. And he said, are you from Dearborn? I had a house in Dearborn, Michigan at the time. It was just so random. So he was waiting for Willie to arrive. And I didn't know that. So he sees Willie and says, hey, man, I met the woman for you. And Willie was like, I am not here for that. Like, I do not want anything to do with that. And so he said, no, I did. He's like, you got to meet her. And so he said, why don't you all meet us like in the Bellagio? We were staying there. He said, like, let's meet for dinner. And so we met for dinner. He was a really nice guy. He introduced us. And then he said, well, when I come to Michigan, can I take you to dinner? And I said, sure. I'm thinking he may not make good on that. But sure enough, he did. And then we started dating and things everything went smoothly. I ended up, changing industries, went in marketing and pharmaceutical, going to Philadelphia so that we could actually date in the same city. I ended up finding a job that was like, 3 miles from his house and a house that was like 20 minutes from him. I mean, it was really aligned. It was really.
Go get your man. Go get your man. Go get your man. Go get your man.
So at the wedding,
love
and Crisette, you were there. The napkins at the dinner, at the cocktail hour said, "What happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas."
Right. Absolutely. Oh my God, you guys, they had one of the most beautiful, amazing weddings. Chuck married them in Florida.
Really?
It was, yes, it was such a beautiful, beautiful wedding. And so, Terrah, let me ask you this. How long did you date before you guys decided to get married?
About 2.5 years.
Okay, 2.5 years. Okay. And so let me ask you, before you met Willie, of course, you had some things that you wanted to accomplish and some things that you wanted to do. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that one day you would end up marrying an NBA star? What did you think your life would do? Where did you believe your life would be before you met Willie?
Honestly, I don't exactly know, but I do know. What I do know and what is so interesting and so profound is that a month before I met Willie, I got extremely intentional about what I wanted. And with therapy and with I was single for about 10 years in my adult life at that point. I'm 2 years older than him. So I wrote down.
Wait a minute. I love the love stories. First you from Michigan. Yes, she got a love story. Then she gonna get her man, and then he a little younger than me. Yes. Go ahead. I am loving everything about you. For real.
I wrote down everything that I wanted in a mate because I was like, I'm going to get it right. I am going to get this right. And so, from spiritual foundation to family oriented to trustworthy to financially responsible to, wants children to, everything. I drilled it down. Right. And then a month later,
Come on. Write the vision, girl. You wrote the vision, okay?
And made it plain. Okay, I got a question. I do want to know, Terrah, how old are your children? How far apart are they?
So our children, it's a blended family. So I had a son from a previous marriage. He is 20. And then we have a middle who is 14. That's from a previous relationship with Willie. And then we have a baby, Mason, who is 9 now. So
wow, beautiful.
He brought it all together. So it's 20, they're all 6 years apart. So it's 20, 14, wow. She's almost 15, and then 9.
Wow. Okay, Terrah. Okay, Terrah. Now I know a lot of women go to NBA All-Star Weekend. Okay,
yes.
They don't walk around with the prize, so don't be giving no false hope to these women. Seriously. Okay. Well, have you always been a basketball fan? Have you always been into basketball? Really?
Yes. So I've always been a sports fan. Always been a basketball fan. My father is a sport advocate. He is like, there's always sports on in the house. Growing up, we were huge Pistons fans. We would go to the games. Every Thursday night, we were watching the Bad Boys. Huge sports fans. But did I ever think I'd be married to an NBA player? No, not at all.
Okay. What is one of the biggest thoughts that people have that are not true? Like, people think if I'm married to a basketball player, but this is not true. What are some of those things?
Well, from the outside, and then now with social media and, all these reality shows, right? It's like, everyone thinks that there's this glitz and this glamour and that these women, have this unrealistic lifestyle. And, the truth is that people say, oh, did you watch Basketball Wives? No, I don't watch Basketball Wives because those aren't the true basketball wives. The true basketball wives don't have time to be doing any of that because we are extremely busy with everything that's on our plates. And so, you think that it's the glitz and the glamour, and there is the glitz and the glamour. There is the wonderful. I live a very, I don't know what I would call it. I would say it's a It's a very nice, cushiony lifestyle. However, it comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with so many outside things that people don't understand, and so many dynamics that have to continuously be shifted and reassessed at a moment's notice. And so that's what people, I don't think, understand in professional sports. At a moment's notice, your spouse can be shipped to another city and you just have to figure out life.
Right. I got to ask this, Terrah, right quick. The children and schools, 13 schools. So many times people won't even have the thought because they think their children will be so messed up if you move them. Talk about how you've prepared the children for the various moves and how they respond.
I completely agree. Someone said that, if the parents are settled and the parents are grounded, the children will be fine. And that is absolutely the case. Willie has always been under the impression that with me and him, he's like, if we're on the same page and if we set the tone, children adjust. Right. And that's the only thing. We need to just make sure we're creating a safe place in our home, that we have peace in our home, and our kids will thrive. And he's absolutely right. I mean, it also is the personality of the child. So my 20-year-old, who will be 21 next week, he is just a gregarious, like amazing, outgoing personality. He just has that about him. He's never met a stranger, old soul. And so for him to make those transitions, it wasn't as difficult as I think it would be for the younger one. And so, Ross was growing up during Willie's playing career. And so during the playing career, you're going to transition a lot more as they get to the end of that. But with coaching, you can kind of stay in a place for a little bit longer. And so with the younger one, Mason, that is going to be great for him because his personality is more like Willie. He's a little bit more introverted. He's a little more reserved. He's not as outgoing. And so he likes to know what's next. And so preparing him is just to sit down and say, Mason, you're going to be fine. This is what we're planning, show him a couple different options. And that makes it a little bit better for him. But I think every child is different, and how you prepare every child in a move, is a little bit different. And so we've just had to adjust accordingly as a couple and as a family.
Terrah, I want to know.
Both from Detroit. Find out. Are they both from Detroit?
Yes. Terrah and Willie.
Yes.
And so Willie went to Cooley High School. And where did you go to high school?
John Glenn. I always lived in suburbs. So John Glenn High School.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'm from Detroit, so I'm just like so happy.
Trying to figure it out. Terrah, your story is it's so inspiring. I love, I likewise made a list, and having it the man of your dreams, or the man who was perfect for you to show up is so perfect. And one of the things that I love and appreciate so much, even though my husband's being messy in the chat, is how he supports me. So can you talk about really what does that look like for you to support his dream, but have him allow you to soar? And how do you manage that? Like, just how do you manage regularly all the big decisions that you're having to make, and still being your own woman?
That's a great question. And, I find it's a very interesting dynamic because, and it is not always easy. It is extremely challenging because every move creates a different dynamic. Every situation that we're confronted with creates a different dichotomy. And so it's really interesting, how Willie, Willie's all for me being successful in living my dreams and my goals. But what I found is that it's very challenging once we get to a new city to get him settled and make sure that he has everything, most importantly, to do his job to support us. And then to get the children settled and make sure that they're happy and that they have everything they need. And then a year later, I turn around, or 9 months later, I look at myself and I say, well, what about me? And what do I want? And what makes me happy? And so that's been the struggle. And now that I'm, 11, 12, 13 years into this, I have realized that I have to find ways to fill my cup. And I have to be very intentional about that. And if I am intentional about how do I fill my cup, and being able to articulate that to my husband with certain requests of him to say, look, this is what I need from you. Can you do this, this, and this? Or this is what I need today, right? I'm getting better at it, but it was not easy. There's been some times where I really questioned whether or not I was for this life, because it really will test you. It's extremely challenging. And while, you know, everyone looks from the outside in and says, you know, oh, you live such a great life. Yeah, I do. But there are a lot easier lives to live. And so, you know, as a couple, we have really had to work that out. We've had to go to counseling. We've had to like get on the same page. We've had to do the work and really dig deep.
Right.
And that is where I'm at now. I'm at being intentional, being ways that I fill my cup, you know, making sure I'm staying connected with my core group of girlfriends, most of them back in Detroit, who are amazing and supportive. Yes, I have accountability partners now, and Willie loves it. He's so encouraging. He's like, okay, yep, you got, you know, this call, you've got, you know, this going on, like, what can I do to help? And so I've noticed that since I've switched gears, you know, he is able to better support me. But I feel like men, they're not brain readers. They don't know how to read your brain. You have to tell them how they can support you. And so I'm getting a lot better with that.
Hey, Terrah,
That's
you know
so
what?
good.
Let me just say kudos to you. You said a whole lot in those few minutes. You talked about, you know, going to counseling. You know, sometimes when you think, you know, couples in counseling, it doesn't always mean that they're on the verge of having a divorce. It simply can mean we're on the verge of making our marriage even better. And so I think that's so powerful that you made a decision to go get counseling. And sometimes, you know, people
and be loud about it, talk about it.
Exactly. When it's too late. I mean, sometimes if you nip it in the bud before it grows to this mountain, it becomes easier. So I thought that was good. And I love the perspective that you have, because so many times, you know, people look and they see the glitz and the glamour. And like you said, you know, you don't know my story. I love when you said, you know, you thought about, and I'm sure you guys can chime in, maybe Sabrina with Kenny and his career as an Olympic gold medalist and having to move around and to do the things that you have done. You know, I can remember when I got married to Chuck, and he was just a minister, you know, at the church. He wasn't the pastor. And so, you know, as young girls growing up, you have an idea of what your marriage is going to be. You know, sometimes it's influenced by what you see on television, and sometimes it's influenced by, you know, your parents. And so I remember thinking, you know, when she became the pastor, and even before that, with all the traveling, sometimes I would think, man, you know, I always envisioned that I would have a family where we would sit down, the kids would eat dinner together, my husband, we would all eat dinner together and be one big happy family. Well, you know what? I had to lose that thought, because if I held on to that thought of this is what was going to make a happy family, I would be miserable. Okay, because there were many days where, you know, me and the kids were eating and Chuck wasn't home because he was out traveling, or his schedule just didn't allow. So I think that's really important, because sometimes people have a false sense of the kind of life that you live.
Absolutely.
So Sabrina, talk a little bit of, go ahead, Gloria.
No. Go ahead, Sabrina. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like, yeah, I was having a little bit of angst because we just found out we're moving again, our 7th move in a matter of years. And I was finding myself getting a little consumed with concern. And I had to remind myself of possibilities and options and the positive about all things. And so I do know that your attitude, your mindset is so important. But Terrah, thank you for saying you have to let your spouse know your needs, your concerns. You have to be loud to God to say, God, this is how I'm feeling. And so my worries, my anxiety that I'm feeling, take this so that I can be free to get us moved and be positive. It's an incredible opportunity for Kenny, but you know, you start to think about what you're going to be moving away from, but you just get to a point where it's new expectations, new environment, new excitement. It is a mindset. I also believe that that we are full of capacity. Crisette, you
Right,
always have taught us that we're full of capacity. And so we don't want to put ourselves in a box. I think it's important as women, though, to support your man. You've got to hold on to your identity and know that you have a lot to offer to this world. Don't get lost in his world, but know that you have a wonderful world, but also be able to lift him up in his world and be okay with that. I think that's so important. So I just think powerful women, we walk in purpose. And so girlfriends, Terrah, you said making sure that you stay connected to the power source other than God, a good group of girlfriends. I mean, it's these girlfriends. When I first found out we were moving, I went to them first. And I will tell you, my attitude wasn't all giddy at first. It was like, we're moving to cold Ohio, okay? I love where I am. And Gloria really helped me get my attitude right. She really did. She's like, Sabrina, you need to fix your attitude, okay? You need to fix your attitude. And so I'm glad that I have girlfriends who love me, pray for me, and say it's going to be okay. So also, I think plugging into power sources in the city that you're going to. Find like-minded women that you can plug into, so you're not like just surrounded by a whole bunch of moving boxes, feeling all bad for yourself. So, what were you going to say, Gloria? What were you going to say?
Before
We
Gloria,
have a caller.
yeah, we do have a caller. Marathon, are you on the line?
And I'm enjoying this NBA good. Oh, I didn't know this good, girl. It make you want to play a ball. I mean, we want to play basketball. I'm 60 years old, baby. I'm doing good.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it, Marathon. Thank you.
Can I do it? I'll try it now. No, I would just enjoy it. It's good to hear that she got her thing together. It's strong. You know, I thought that she married a ball player. He out there playing with all the women, but Charlotte, you got it locked down, girl.
Locked down, baby. Locked down. She's from Detroit.
Oh, well, she got it locked down. Well, you say no more. You said Detroit. I know she locking it down. I know she cooking food that you could eat. On down in the bedroom, all that good stuff from Detroit.
Okay, Marathon.
Yes, all right, I'm listening to you.
Okay, thank you for calling in. We got issues. We appreciate you calling in, Marathon. Thank you. Gloria, go ahead. You were going to say something before the caller?
Well, you know, Sabrina started bringing this on, and I love about therapy and talked about her girlfriends. And Chris, you highlighted that. So, Tara, when you think about your girlfriends, this is what is our mission here is girlfriends, and the power of girlfriends is we got issues. And, you know, when you have solid girlfriends, they give you certain things and you give them certain things. So without saying their names, what do some of your girlfriends deposit into you that you find have been very valuable on your journey?
Well, authenticity and honesty, trust, you know, when I call them, they can tell me like, okay, no, you're being a little unreasonable. Or, you know, like you said, Sabrina, like, you know, you got to change your attitude about that. You have to be more positive. You know, I have very practical minded girlfriends who will listen to me, hear me out. Sometimes we just need to vent as women. Sometimes we just need to get it out.
Right.
And they'll do that too. And just be a listening ear. But at the same time, give me a rational, you know, supportive, loving, you know, response. And that's kind of what we need. We need someone that's going to pour into us, that's going to give us, you know, and all of them are women who are godly, who are rooted in the word. And that is, you know, that is the source. And I am learning more and more and more about that connection on a daily basis and making sure that I spend time intentionally with the Lord, making sure that I'm talking and I'm saying scriptures out of my mouth, and that I'm speaking that into my home, and that I'm speaking that into my children, the power of that. And so that sisterhood, you know, that sisterhood with girlfriends, you know, just the positivity, all of them are so educated. You know, I am definitely not the smartest one in the room. So that's also such a benefit, you know, when you're going through different situations, that help to build us up.
You know,
Hey, Terrah,
when you talk about those, oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, talk about the Basketball Wives community. Have you been able to connect there, or has it not been as welcoming as you would have liked?
So it's really interesting because some of the cities make it very easy for you to connect with the other wives and other families, and they do a great job of being very hospitable. So they kind of give you the lay of the land, and they put you together, and sometimes you click, and sometimes you don't. But you usually find your people. It's usually easy to do that when the teams bring about camaraderie. But it's not always like that. And so in those cities where it's not like that, it can be extremely lonely. And I think that a lot of the NBA wives agree across the board that it's extremely lonely when you are in these cities. Most of us don't know anyone. Most of us don't have support from our families. We're depending on, nannies and sitters and people in the community. And we're just there until our husbands get done doing their job. And so that's one reason why I've created Tried and True, because I feel like, we have to have a platform to connect, and a platform that isn't intrusive, because it's an industry where people don't trust. It's hard to trust people. You don't know why they want to get close to you. You don't know what their intentions are. And I get it. I get it. But I am such a person that needs connection and needs that community and needs that support. And I feel like when we have that as women who are holding it down, there are so many incredibly intelligent, women that are doing so much in the community. They have their own businesses, and I want them to have more of a voice. And I want us to have a consolidated, connected voice. And so I see so many ways that I can go with this app, but I feel like there has to be a place where we can connect, where it doesn't feel like people are intrusive and they don't necessarily have your personal information, but where you can share and where we can support each other and really form a community. So I think there's a lot to it. And I think that, God has put it on my heart to do this. It's a tough group of women because, like I said, you got, 19-year-olds, you got middle age, you've got the coaches dynamic, you've got all these different dynamics. Being a player's, wife and a coach's wife, totally different. There's a big line. And so it's trying to fight all those different barriers. But at the end of the day, we're all people. And at the end of the day, community is what it's all about. So I think if we can connect and we can support each other, then the guys win. And that's what it's all about.
Wow, that is so powerful.
And we all win.
So powerful.
That's right. We all win.
We all win.
Terrah, just thinking about you creating this app, because the beautiful thing that you have going is the fact that you've been on the side of being a NBA player's wife, and now you've stepped out of that role into the role of being a coach's wife. And so you can see these new wives, and like you said, they vary in ages. You can see them coming in, and now with your app be able to support them and to help them. And I just love your heart and how you have a desire to help those that are coming behind you and to build this community. And I just think it's so powerful that you're supporting Willie, as well as being able to live your life and to follow your dreams and your passion. So share with us, what has been your greatest joy and maybe your greatest disappointment, if I can say it that way.
Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. That is a loaded question, Crisette. I would say my greatest joy would be just living a life filled with love, having a supportive mate and family that, we know that we're going to do this together no matter what. I think, just experiencing the highs and the lows, never getting too high, never getting too low, but just experiencing it together and having, peace with that. I would say is my greatest joy, is that, it can look like it's, you're getting the rings and you're getting all this and you're in the finals and it can look great from the outside. But if home is not happy, then there's not a whole lot of fulfillment in that. Right. And so the greatest joy, I guess, is the fulfillment of, having a loving spouse, being in love still after 11 years of marriage, awesome. Having children, who keep us laughing and keep us, together and growing with them and seeing them grow and blossom. What a blessing. And then I would say that my greatest
And you know what? I'm going to rephrase it. Not greatest disappointment. It would be what has been your greatest challenge?
Oh, my greatest challenge? Oh, definitely is the moving all the time. I mean,
okay.
So that is the hardest part is the relocation, because it's at a moment's notice typically, and before you get your footing, you have to leave again, and you make such great friends, sometimes in these cities that you're in, and then you have to leave, and you may never see them again. There's some people that move to Europe, and there's some people that they go on their separate way, and you never see them again. And so it's like the connections that you do create, which are few and far between a lot of times in this world, you sometimes you lose that. And so that's hurtful. It's like, it's hard. It's really hard.
Terrah, you have been so excellent. We're all chatting over here like, we love her. Oh, I love her. Oh,
you are a part of the tribe, Terrah.
I love you all.
You're the president. You're the president. You're the president.
I am so thankful.
Yeah, this has been so enlightening and so joyful for your transparency and talking about that, and your ability to get support from him, and you giving him support as well as the 11 years. And I want to ask you this, because Chris is going to move into a beautiful home that we all saw. How is it to fall in love with property and then have to leave it?
Oh, right.
That's a good question.
I've learned not to fall in love. It's crazy as that sounds. I've learned to not fall in love.
I see that. Yeah, I can hear that.
Wow.
I can hear that, because you can't sink your heart into something when you don't know that you're going to be there forever. So you appreciate it, but you don't.
And I learned how to, like, I buy certain things and I invest in certain pieces that I know, like, okay, if I had to leave this behind, I would be okay. Like, I don't get, and it's like, I love art, and, we've refrained from like really investing in an art collection, because I'm like, those would be my babies. Like, I would not want anything to happen to them. And as much as we move around, it's like, until you have that forever house, you really can't do stuff like that. You can't have those, because they're such a pain to move. They're so expensive to move. And so I've kind of held off on that until we can have, like,
so
stability.
Smart.
Wow.
That's beautiful. So your whole
tribe loves you, Terrah.
Arizona for a minute. Go ahead, Caterina.
Go ahead, Kat.
Well, right, exactly. We don't know how long we'll be there, and that's the thing. You just kind of,
Terrah, because I read that he is interviewing for some head coaching jobs, baby. We want that brother to go to the top, baby. We are going to a head coach position.
From the winning side all the way.
Exciting news on the horizon. Exciting news.
Exciting news. You guys, you have been listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation with our special guest today, Terrah Green, who is the wife of assistant coach Willie Green of the Phoenix Suns. I am going to say it, they're going to win. They are going to win. And we have thoroughly enjoyed talking with you, Terrah. Thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much for just being a part of our tribe. We absolutely love you, adore you. You absolutely will be invited to come back and to share some more. Once Willie gets that job, we want to know. Okay? You guys, thank you so much for listening to us, and we will see you tomorrow on We Got Issues at 6 p.m. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wishing you the best of your moves, Sabrina. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. Thank you, Terrah. Our Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
I can hang up now.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Still on live, but Chris is going to shut it down, I think.
Okay, Terrah, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes. Oh my goodness, Terrah, you were absolutely amazing. OMG. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for the conversation. This was so good. And we are absolutely praying that, what is the next game? What is the next game?
Thursday.
On Thursday.
Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday. Yeah, we watched last night, and you know what? We may not have been praying hard enough, so we're gonna be praying a little bit extra. Okay, for Wednesday. For sure.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, this has been awesome. So again, thank you so much.
Thank all of you. It was so nice to meet you all. I just love what you're doing. Now I've got the website. I've got your website down. I know how to log into the show. You have had so many great topics. I was on listening today to all the one on purpose and the one on oh my goodness, the one on child rearing and it's so many great tips. I love it. I will be tuning in for sure. And I sent all the information to my girlfriends and everything and to people in the industry. So they know what you all are doing, and I just think it's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terrah. Thank you. We love you. Give our best to Willie and everybody. And I'll talk to you real soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Sabrina, I wish you the best with your move.
Thank you so much.